Throughout the world, there are some construction sites so extreme it would make your head spin. From a railway being built in the Himalayas, almost 15,000 feet above the ground, to one of the largest man-made holes in the world. On this episode of Built a Billion, we present to you the world's most extreme construction projects. And stay till the end, because we saved the most extreme project for last. If you love to hear about all the mega projects of the world, please subscribe to the channel and help us reach our goal of 500 subscribers. It'll really help the channel out. Etihad Railway Mega Project. We'll start off our list in the Arabian Desert, where the UAE is building the Etihad Railway. The $11 billion mega project, once completed, will connect the UAE to Saudi Arabia with a 1,200-kilometer long network. Bahrain, Kuwait, Oman, Qatar, Saudi Arabia, and the UAE are known as the Gulf Cooperation Council and heavily depend on oil, but their economies have taken hits, like the one in 2008 and the recent COVID crisis. As a result, these GCC states are collaborating on a $100 billion rail network to better connect their ports and industrial centers, hoping to reduce their dependence on oil and diversify their economies. Now, we take a look at the Etihad Railway project that runs through one of the hottest and most unforgiving regions in the world. During the day, the heat can reach 122 degrees Fahrenheit or 50 degrees Celsius, so workers have to work at night when it's 86 degrees Fahrenheit or 30 degrees Celsius. But the heat doesn't pose the only problem. During strong winds, huge amounts of sand can settle on the site, making progress impossible. So the nearby sand dunes are turned into clay, which is a process that in itself takes years to complete. Or trees are planted that can act as natural walls to block the sand. The Etihad project will be completed in 2 stages and should be complete by 2024. The first stage began in 2009 and consists of 2 tracks with a length of 264 kilometers. The railway should also reduce the UAE's carbon footprint, which is one of the worst in the world. The addition of a railway is the equivalent of removing 300 trucks from the road, which reduces carbon dioxide by 70 to 80%. Phase 2 will add another 600 kilometers to the network to connect the East Coast to the project. Norway's Coastal Highway. Norway is known for its sublime coastal towns and steep cliffs, but a mountainous terrain also comes with traveling difficulties. Right now, a trip from Trondheim in the north to Bergen in the south will take you 21 hours and 7 ferry rides. Norway has finally decided to fix this issue and boost its economy with a $47 billion upgrade. This highway will be unlike any other and will include floating bridges, floating tunnels, and have the deepest road tunnel in the world, called the Rogfast Tunnel. This tunnel started construction in 2018 and completion was expected by 2026, but has been pushed back to 2031 due to cost overruns. 430 meters below sea level and 30 kilometers long, it will become the world's longest and deepest subsea tunnel. But the most challenging part of the whole operation is most likely the Sognefjord crossing. The Sognefjord crossing is the deepest and largest fjord in Norway, at 3.7 kilometers wide and 1.3 kilometers deep, and ships consistently pass through here. As a rule, every crossing should allow for a clear shipping lane, so the developers have many ideas in mind for the crossing. The first being a suspension bridge with a 3,700 meter crossing and support towers 450 meters tall, which is taller than the Empire State Building. It would be the tallest bridge structure in the world. The second idea for the crossing would be a floating bridge that would ideally be raised for ships to pass. And then there's the idea for a submerged floating tunnel. The tunnel would be suspended from floating pontoons, allowing ships to easily pass from above. Either way this project goes, there will be some record broken or some first-of-its-kind feature. Tibet's high-speed railway. In the Tibetan Plateau, China is building one of the most extreme railroads ever. The Tibetan Plateau has an average altitude of 4,500 meters or 14,800 feet and is surrounded by the world's tallest mountains, including Mount Everest. China is working on an 1,800-kilometer long high-speed train for Tibet's capital to Chengdu. The project is split up into 3 sections, and 2 of them are already opened. For the first 400-kilometer section of the railway alone, $6 billion was spent. Along the way, there are 41 tunnels and 121 bridges to compensate for altitude distances. Due to the extreme heights, the trains are equipped with oxygen supply systems and special windows to protect against high UV exposure. At the end of 2020, construction began on the 1,000-kilometer middle portion of the railway. To make it a little more extreme, the area is known for frequent earthquakes, and you can add in landslides, avalanches, and floods if that's not enough. To build a railroad in these conditions is more than exceptional, and over 100 medical facilities were placed along the trail to provide medical aid for the construction workers. These workers have to deal with being exhausted from the high altitudes and extreme temperature differences. Inside the tunnels, the temperature can reach over 100 degrees Fahrenheit, but can dip to the 50s once outside. The project is expected to be completed by 2030 and will make it much easier to explore this beautiful region once completed. Diamond Mir Mine. The most extreme construction project in this list is the Mir Diamond Mine in Siberia, Russia. Siberia is infamous for its harsh winters with average temperatures below 0 degrees Celsius. Not so many people want to live here, but in the 1950s, a Soviet geologist named Yuri Kabardin went on an expedition into a particularly remote area of Siberia and casually found a mine of diamond deposits. Today, in this spot lies one of the deepest man-made holes, an open-pit mine that's 500 meters deep. It's so deep, it could fit the Eiffel Tower or the Empire State Building inside, and there'd still be space left. Mining began in the late 50s, but the hostile conditions made it almost impossible. Long winters saw temperatures reach negative 30 degrees Celsius or negative 22 degrees Fahrenheit and froze the oil in the machinery. Consequently, miners had to use explosives to melt the permafrost in order to reach the diamond deposits. The summers saw the ground turn to mud, and all the buildings had to be built on piles. The soil was even too unstable for the main processing plant, and it instead had to be built 20 kilometers away from the mine. In 2017, hydroecological problems led to a massive flooding of the mine. 143 of the 151 miners on site that day were rescued, with the search for the remaining 8 abandoned afterwards. Mining is still carried out in the Mir mine today. The whole operation has moved underground. What do you think about these extreme construction sites? Let me know in the comments below. I have plenty more videos for you to binge watch, so click that video on the screen to watch something you haven't seen. And thanks for visiting Built a Billion.